It's our goal today to get as much information first to you as we can, and then on the second half of this to get as much information from you as we can. I'll describe, after we finish what will be 4 formalized presentations, how we're going to break into break groups that you probably have noticed in the back to deal with specific issues, and I'll talk about the people that are going to be there and whatever goals we have in that area. We do ask that you let us get through the presentations and the other folks, and then when the questions come up, we've got specific experts in the back that hopefully can answer factual questions. If we leave things unanswered, we have places for people to leave written questions, and our commitment to everybody is we will respond to those questions in a form that's the most efficient for everybody. So with that, let me start off this evening with introducing Mayor Parker.
I appreciate that, and for those of you who are standing in the back, there are chairs up here. You don't have to huddle in the back. You can sit down, and I know that Mr. Icken mentioned that we would have some presentations. Our goal is to not spend a whole long time speaking to you, but more time hearing from you. But we all need to kind of lay out what we're about tonight. I want to start with recognizing a couple of other elected officials in the room. Councilmember Ed Gonzalez and Councilmember James Rodriguez here. And a once and future elected official, I understand that State Representative-elect Boris Miles is here also. I'm also going to start with an apology. I don't normally start a meeting that way, but I know it's a pain for people to come downtown. Our original intention was to have this meeting at the United Way, and they turned us down. I don't know, they thought we were going to be too rowdy or something. Then we tried the local high schools with gymnasiums. Of course, this is the first week of school, and they weren't really excited about hosting a public meeting. If you did park at the Hilton Americas, we tried to get the word out that you could, we can validate the parking there. We can't validate the parking across the street, but in the Hilton Americas, we can help you with that. We were trying to do this meeting closer to the neighborhood. But it was difficult to find a location big enough. In fact, the city's community center across the street, in essence, we just felt it was too small to accommodate the projected crowd, and we were clearly right about that. There's a lot of questions about this project. I hope that we can answer as many of them as possible tonight, and as Mr. Icken said, anything we don't get answered, we will get back to you. We have been listening, and we get it. We want economic development in the city of Houston, but we don't want economic development that either causes us more neighborhood problems down the road or occurs in such a way that destroys the residential neighborhoods around it. As we indicated, I'm going to give you a little bit of the background on the project. Mr. Icken, who is the Chief Development Officer for the City of Houston, will talk about some specific things that we've been discussing with the developer. We will take your questions, and then we will divide up into work groups, and we'll stay till the last question that is out there. I don't know if we can get an answer tonight, but we don't have a time limit on this meeting. But the reason that we wanted to break up into groups, we know that in any development, traffic, noise, drainage, lighting, those issues are always of concern, and so we wanted to break up with the city experts to talk about to answer any questions you may have on, again, those specific subject areas, and we'll go into making sure you know where to go at the end of the meeting. I can tell you that as we walk through, as staff walks through the proposal, the other reason I wanted to break us up into some smaller groups is we're going to be throwing stuff up on these screens, and here at the George R. Brown we have some really great AV capabilities, but you really can't do justice to a drainage map up there. We really can't do justice to a development outline up there. So we'll have maps that are more visible, and we can actually get around them and talk about what's being presented. City staff began preliminary discussions on what we call the Koehler Street Development, I believe in February. And this project is handled just like all city projects. It comes in at the staff level. Mr. Dicken, as Chief Development Officer, is notified early on, and it's worked at the staff level. I was actually briefed on this project yesterday. I have not had any conversations with anybody in either Aimbinder or Walmart about this project. We handle this all routinely at a staff level, and this is something, again, whether we're talking about a 380 agreement in this project or some other type of project, we handle them all exactly the same way. I actually first heard about this project back in June, and at the time the project was to include an HEB as the anchor tenant. City staff and I found out that there had been a change in plans, and Walmart would be the anchor tenant at about the same time as apparently the neighborhood did in July. To be clear, from a city standpoint, whether it's a Walmart, an HEB, a Target, a Costco, or something else, we are agnostic about that. It's been clear to us since the old ironworks closed that this site would be developed. And again, we approach this the way we do any major development in the city of Houston. Developers come to us and lay out their plans. We tell them what our requirements are, and they would generally proceed. The city cannot stop development on a site, nor can we pick and choose the tenants on a site. We do have the responsibility and the ability to ensure that all permits required are secured. And we do have some tools to help bring developers to the table to get other things that we might want. In any situation you want carrots or sticks. Well, this is an unzoned city and there's not a whole lot of sticks, so we have relied on carrots. And frankly, we don't have a whole lot of carrots either. One of the carrots we have is something that the state legislature gave us, which is called a 380 agreement. We've done 2 380 agreements through TERSs, so we've done 2 so far in the city of Houston. There is one pending before Houston City Council right now. There's another one that probably come back up the following week, and then this would be the 5th if we do a 380 agreement with Aimbinder and or Walmart. 380 agreements are economic development tools that are fairly direct. They give us an opportunity to leverage what we want out of the developer. And in essence, we say, we like certain things for the public benefit, and we want you to pay for them. And if you'll pay for them, we will pay you back later from the sales tax that you generate. If you don't generate sales tax, there's no return. You've put some really great money into the public infrastructure, and we thank you for that. I was a Civic Club president before I came into public life, and I saw many times, even then, how developers would go do a project, the city would give them the proper permits, but then there would be a major traffic jam in front of the development, or the development would cause some other set of neighborhood problems, and the city was left to fix whatever was there. 380 agreements allow us to get in early and say, again, we know you're going to do your project anyway, but wouldn't it be nice if we worked together on this and you pay for it? And so we are hoping that the developer in this case, and Walmart, the anchor tenant, because we are negotiating with both, will respond to that request so that we can have a project that meets more of our needs. And there are a number of public infrastructure needs associated with a development of this size. So it makes sense to have everybody at the table at the beginning to try to anticipate them instead of to try to fix them later. I want to thank you for your interest in this project. I'm going to be here the whole evening. I'm going to have Mr. Aiken talk about where we are in the process. And I'll say finally, while this is at the staff level and it is coming to me now, nothing happens from a 380 agreement standpoint without a vote of City Council. However, and I want to emphasize this, if the developers want to do the project that they plan to do and come and get the proper permits, they will do that project within the ordinances that we have available. So whatever we decide that we want in extra would have to be worked out with city staff, and then would need a full vote of the City Council to institute that 380 agreement. Now I'm going to turn the meeting over to Mr. Aiken, and he's going to actually walk you through what's happening on the site. Thanks.